qualified with a 3.4 GPA. 2 years ago, I started community college already knowing I wanted to end up at UT Austin. I just didn't know how crazy the journey to get there was going to be. First of all, I just want to say that this is going to be more like my journey, my story of how I got there. I'm not going to focus so much on like numbers, like GPA and stuff. I'm still going to talk about that, but I'm going to focus more on like the story of how I got there. If you just want to hear a random girl's story of how she got into UT, please keep watching. But yeah, if you want like more information, I'm not gonna be a lot of help on that, so yeah, you can still keep watching though. I just want to start off by saying I am the first person in my family to go to university. So starting from high school, senior year, I didn't really know what I was doing. I was really lost. I didn't really have anybody to guide me. My older brother didn't go to college. It's not like I could ask an older brother or something. My high school counselor, I remember that was no help at all. I remember we had like one counselor for the entire high school, so I grew up in a small town, so it was like a really small high school. I took a gap year. That entire gap year, I just worked. Because like during high school, I had like no idea how well anything worked. I had no clue how to fill out a FAFSA form or university applications. So I was really lost in that. I was like, well, I guess my only option is community college. I remember I enrolled in classes, the easy and cheap. Okay, when I started community college, I was taken aback by the price because usually classes are like 300 something, but I was charged out of district. It was also a commute to classes. It was like a 50-hour commute. 50-minute commute with traffic. I don't think community college is cheap. At least it wasn't for me. So that's the thing I kind of hated. Because like the reason I chose it was because it was supposed to be cheap, and it was not cheap. Obviously cheaper than university classes, but usually a community college class is like 300 something, and I was paying like 800 or 1,000 if it was like a lab, if it had like a lab attached to the class. So yeah, I remember I was working full-time, and like I had classes in person full-time. First semester was rough. I didn't end my first semester perfect like I wanted to. I remember I think I ended with 2 B's or maybe 1. That same semester, I went in to talk to an advisor. It was like the first month I was there. My major was business because I feel like that was just like a general major. And obviously my first semester I was really lost too. Went in and talked to an advisor, and I told her, I was like, so this summer I wrote a poetry book. And I remember her telling me, she was like, oh my god, what's it called and all this stuff. I told her, I was like, that's why I want to major in English, because apart from liking writing, I also was thinking of like going to law school. I still am thinking of going to law school after I graduate with my bachelor's, but I don't know. So I thought English was a fit for me, and she also thought so, so I was like, okay, perfect. So she sort of helped me pick my major. I kind of skipped over this part. The summer before going into my community college classes, I started a TikTok account and I started sharing like my writing on there, and most of it was like, no, I think all of it was like poetry. And then I remember I wrote, I self-published a poetry book. And then I told her about that experience. She was like, yeah, I think English would be a perfect fit for you. My first semester ended and barely survived. I also got fired during finals, so yeah. So apart from stressing about finals, I was also stressing about finding a job. I was finding, like, I remember finding like little jobs, but I was like, these are not gonna pay my classes. Like, I have to lock in for my second semester. I have to lock in. Okay, so I was gonna enroll for like 2 honor classes my second semester to like make up for my semester. It wasn't even bad the first semester, but I just needed like straight A's. I thought that's what was gonna get me into UT, so that's what I wanted, straight A's. And I was like, okay, I need to lock in. I need to take honor classes. I need to do student government, all this stuff, right? And I actually was offered a position as student government. Yeah, I don't remember exactly what the position was, but I won the position, and then I couldn't take it because I ended up getting an office job, and my entire plan for the semester was ruined. This office job was the only one that could pay my classes because my tuition was $1,000 every month for the semester, basically. So that's why I was like, okay, community college is not cheap at all. What is going on here? Like, I was like, should I take a gap semester, or like, what should I do at this point? Because this office job had an hour and like 20-minute commute or something like that. It was definitely an hour commute. The entire semester was basically ruined, I guess you could say. At least in my head, that's how I saw it. And that was the worst semester ever. My GPA fell down so bad. It was ruined, basically, my GPA. I remember after that, I was like, there is no shot I am getting into UT. So I was just like, okay, just like, I don't care about classes anymore, whatever happens, I don't care at this point. That's what my mindset was for like that semester, that summer, whatever. My second year there, which was the third semester, I ended up getting FAFSA. So I quit that office job. My focus was like finally classes. Yeah, I focused on classes. But that second semester was the most challenging thing ever because, wait, I forgot to say, on top of that office job, I was taking 2 classes plus 1 in person, and it had like a lab or something, so it was like a longer class, and I had another job on top of that. So I was working like how many hours a week? Like 60 something? It was insane. That's why it was hard. I had 2 jobs that semester, which at this point I was lost again. On my third semester, I was like, my third and fourth semester, my 2 last semesters, or like my last year in community college, I was lost. Like if I'm not getting into UT, then like what's the point of doing all this hard work for? Like, I didn't see the point anymore in classes. Like, yeah, in taking these classes, because my goal was UT Austin. And I remember that during the first semester, I told my advisor that where you want to transfer, and I told her, I was like, UT Austin. I know it's hard to get into, but like that's the college I'm aiming for. That's what I told her. 2 years at community college, they were both hard. I was lost throughout the entire time, basically. I think the first semester was the only one where I was like, okay, I know I can do this. I can get into UT, because it was a clean slate. I still had a lot of trouble my first semester because of, not because of the classes, because of being a student and like working at the same time. So during my 4th semester, my last semester, that's when I applied to UT. So I think it was during like February. It was like January, February when I started like, okay, so when it came time to apply the last semester, I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna do this because like I have nothing to lose. But during the process I was like, I'm not getting in. Like that was my mindset throughout the whole thing. So I put together like the resume. I know the resume was like the really important part. Because I don't know if all schools like need resumes or not. But yeah, I put together the resume, the statement of purpose. I made sure like all my classes were in order and like all that stuff. But the entire time I was like, I kept telling my mom, I was like, should I even apply? Like, what's the point? I'm just gonna be disappointed when I get like the email. I was like, what's the point? Like, but she kept saying, she was like, apply, you never know what can happen. So yeah, I applied with a 3.4 GPA. I found out I got in before walking the stage to my community college graduation. So like 20 minutes before, like we were sitting out there, we were like waiting for our names to be called, and I remember I opened the email. I remember I got the email. I was like, should I even open it right now? Like, I'm gonna be disappointed. Like, what if I start crying in front of everybody? And then I was really bored because like a lot of names were being called. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna open it right now. Before I opened it though, I was like, I'm not getting in. It's okay. With everything I've built, I can still succeed outside of UT. Like, even if I don't get in, I can still like, I have enough things that I've done that I don't need it to succeed. That was my like mindset. I was like, okay, because I applied to Texas State, I was like, okay, I'll be fine going to Texas State because I really like the campus there. I opened it and no, but yeah, I opened it and I got in. I was actually shocked though when I got in. I wish I could have vlogged it. I was going to vlog it, but I was like, no, I'm already like stressed enough about the graduation because it was a big deal to me. I know to some people community college isn't a big deal, but to me it was because I suffered. Like, y'all just heard, y'all didn't hear every single detail. I suffered. Okay, I remember I like threw up this, like the hooks, I threw them up. I like went like this during like when I was walking, and I was like, my parents like don't even like know what I'm talking about, like, because I mean, they've never been to college, so no clue what's going on right now. I saw them after graduation. I was like, I'm not gonna tell them. I'll just tell them by buying them a shirt. And I was too excited, like during like outside when I like saw them. I tried to hold it in, but I was too happy and I ended up telling them. So, yeah, I couldn't hold it in, and when I told them, they're not like emotional, so they were like, I was like, can y'all believe it? They were like, yeah, we knew you were gonna get in, like, because I hyped it up. I was like, I just told them it was like one of the best universities in Texas. I might not get in, like, so just keep that in mind, guys. Like, if I don't get in, like, that's because it's the best university in Texas. So So don't hold it against me. Basically, my statement of purpose was about how I inherited the trait to create from my parents, and how like I didn't inherit like their eye color or like any physical trait. um I inherited their trait to create. um and yeah, I kind of want to go into detail about that, but I feel like this video is really long. Yeah, I feel like I just need to wrap this up. If y'all want to follow my journey into UT, y'all can subscribe. Follow me on my TikTok. If you got this far into the video, I just want to say thank you so much for watching and listening to my story. I hope you stay tuned for what's next.